afternoon. Welcome. This public hearing is now open. It's 2:02 p.m. My name is Susan Langdon. I am the Executive Director of the Niagara County Industrial Development Agency, and I will be the hearing officer for this public hearing. Please note that, as I just mentioned, if you wish to speak, you need to have signed the sign-in sheet prior. I will call the speakers to the podium by name when we reach that part of the public hearing. We are here to solicit comments, both written and oral, on Amazon.com Services LLC and/or individuals or affiliates, subsidiaries, or entities formed or to be formed on its behalf. The transcript of this hearing will be reviewed and considered by the agency in determination of incentives for this project. Notice of this public hearing was published in the Niagara Gazette on July 20th, 2022. The notice reads as follows. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing pursuant to Article 18A of the New York General Municipal Law will be held by the Niagara County Industrial Development Agency on the 3rd day of August 2022 at 2 o'clock local time at the Town of Niagara Town Hall, 7105 Lockport Road, Niagara Falls, in connection with the following matter. Amazon.com Services LLC and/or affiliates or individual affiliates or subsidiaries or entities formed or to be formed on its behalf has submitted an application to the agency, a copy of which is on file at the office of the agency, requesting that the agency consider undertaking a project consisting of A, the acquisition or retention by the agency of a leasehold interest in approximately 217 acres of vacant property located at 8995 Lockport Road in the town of Niagara, Niagara County, New York. B, the construction of an approximately $3 million square foot building for use as a storage and distribution facility. And C, the acquisition and installation around the improvements of certain items of machinery, equipment, and other tangible personal property. The equipment and collectively with the land improvements of the facility. The agency will acquire a leasehold interest in the facility and lease the facility back to the company. The company will operate the facility during the term of the lease. At the end of the lease term, the company will purchase the facility from the agency, or if the agency holds a leasehold interest, the leasehold interest will be terminated. The agency contemplates that it will provide financial assistance to the company in the form of sales and use tax exemptions and a mortgage tax exemption consistent with the policies of the agency and a partial real property tax abatement. A representative of the agency will be at the above stated time and place to present a copy of the company's project application and hear and accept written and oral comments from all persons with views in favor of or opposed to or otherwise relevant to the proposed financial assistance. This public hearing is being conducted in accordance with Subdivision 2 of Section 859A of the New York General Municipal Law, dated July 14, 2022. The proposed project includes the construction and operation of an e-commerce storage and distribution facility located at 8995 Lockport Road. This site is a vacant 216-acre heavy industrial zone site that will be considered a first-mile fulfillment center. The facility will receive inbound bulk shipments of products from suppliers and then send shipments to other facilities within the logistics network for direct shipment to consumers. The applicant's development partner, JB2, received unanimous approvals from the Town of Niagara Planning Board and the Niagara County Planning Board. In addition, the Town of Niagara Board voted unanimously in favor of a negative declaration of the New York State Environmental Quality Review. Items discussed at these meetings included the consolidation of parcels, a height variance, and traffic mitigation plans as a result of in-depth traffic studies. The Niagara County Industrial Development Agency has received an application from Amazon for tax incentives for the Town of Niagara project. Processing of an application by the NCIDA involves 1, accepting the application. This was done by the NCIDA Board of Directors at their July 13th meeting. 2, holding this public hearing today. The NCIDA Board will also accept written comments if they are received by Friday, August 5th. And 3, a final vote by the board to approve or not approve the incentives will take place at the next NCIDA board meeting to be held on August 10th. The proposed IDA incentives include 3 things in compliance with the agency's uniform tax exemption policy. Number 1, New York State and local sales use and use tax exemption. This will abate the sales tax on construction materials, furniture, fixtures, and equipment during the construction phase of the project. Number 2, abatement of the New York State mortgage recording tax. This New York State fee is 3/4 of 1% of the mortgage filed with Niagara County. And 3, a partial real property tax abatement. The company will pay a set percentage of the property taxes that would normally be due for a period of 15 years. This is known as a payment in lieu of tax agreement or pilot agreement. These 3 things are the only incentives we considered by the NCIDA for this project. They do not represent any payments to Amazon. They do not consist of any county or other municipal grants or loans. Presently, the vacant land that the project will be located on generates $24,000 annually in real property taxes. Once the project is constructed, the taxing jurisdictions will receive over $49 million in payment in lieu of tax payments over the 15-year pilot, together with roughly another $15 million in special district taxes. When the facility goes back on the tax rolls at full valuation at the end of the pilot, the facility will pay a total of over $9.5 million to the county school district in real property taxes every year. This is a permanent addition to the tax base, and not only the town, but also to Niagara County. Based upon our cost-benefit analysis program, for every $1 in tax incentives provided to Amazon, the local community receives $11 in benefit. The approximately $124 million in incentives will generate approximately $1.3 billion in local benefit. As far as the tax incentives, the proposed payment in lieu of tax agreement mirrors the pilots for projects in nearby Onondaga and Monroe counties. Such a pilot was acceptable to both of those counties as well as to Amazon, so the IDA feels that it makes sense to follow those leads. The project application, project summary, and cost-benefit analysis are posted on the agency's website at niagaracountybusiness.com, and I have copies with me today up on the front table if you'd like a copy. We have now reached the public comment portion of the hearing. Comments can be in support of or in opposition to the financial incentives being considered by the NCIDA. All comments are to be limited to this project only. The hearing is not for accepting comments on any environmental issues nor environmental determination, and this is not part of the New York SECRA process. As I noted earlier, this has already been completed and approved by the Town of Niagara Board. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. If your comments are more lengthy, you may submit them in writing to be attached to the transcript. Written comments can also be sent to the agency until the comment period closes on August 5th. This is not a question and answer session or a debate. You may speak only once. I will now call the first speaker. Would Michael Casale please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the stenographer. If you're representing a company, please identify the company.
Thank you. My name is Michael Casale, Commissioner, Niagara County Department of Economic Development. I reside in Lewiston and work at the Vantage Corporate Center in Sanborn, New York. First, thank you for the opportunity to speak in support of this transformational project. This facility would be one of Amazon's largest and most sophisticated facilities, employing 1,000 people full-time. The workers' hourly rates include full benefits, including health care, 401ks, and company-paid educational programs. Even at the lowest estimates, these 1,000 permanent jobs will equate to approximately $35 million in salaries to local families alone. And this number does not include the value of the health care benefits provided on the first day. The 1,000 new jobs and the $15 an hour starting salaries are both very conservative numbers as per the company. It's important to note that the project will provide jobs and opportunities to those that don't possess specific work skills. Those new to the workforce will have the opportunity to learn new skills on the job, skills that will be transferable for advancement. Amazon's upskilling programs help employees gain in-demand skill sets to help propel them into new careers. You may have heard of Career Choice, Amazon's prepaid tuition program that offers prepaid full college tuition at hundreds of educational institutions across the country. fact that the Lockport Road facility is along a bus route will provide opportunities for employment for residents of Niagara County that would not otherwise have this opportunity. Frankly, the magnitude of this project will provide employment for all Niagara County residents and those in surrounding counties. Similar impact is the local construction jobs that the project will create. As we know, due to COVID and other factors, construction jobs over the past few years have been scarce. This project will empty the local halls and put hundreds to work for 2+ years. Finally, and as I have mentioned before, this site has long been targeted for development by both state and local officials. In fact, it was designated a Build Now New York shovel-ready certified site in 2012, a designation that came following a lengthy application process that involved the Niagara County Center for Economic Development and its local partners, with the application being thoroughly vetted by numerous agencies. I like to share this information because since receiving this designation, we have been marketing this site as shovel-ready, which was one of the major reasons that this developer chose the site. No serious site selector would give Niagara County a second look if we do not stand behind the shovel-ready certification. Word would spread fast that Niagara County balked on its promise of being shovel-ready, which would undoubtedly jeopardize our chances in the future to compete for projects that would bring significant new capital investment and new jobs to the Niagara County and its region. Once again, thank you for the opportunity to speak on this transformational project.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker is Robert Taylor.
Yes, my name is Robert Taylor. I live at 8150 Packard Road. For the life of me, I can't imagine why a multi-billion-dollar company would be receiving $123 million in tax breaks for jobs that they already reported that 95% of the jobs reported to the IDA will be $31,200 a year. Those jobs aren't even a sustainable wage. They can talk all they want about their benefits and their this and their that and all the other nonsense. Amazon has a 150% turnover ratio for their employees. It's well documented. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to go on the internet and find it. They've already reported that by the year of 2024, they will deplete the amount of people that they will be able to hire at their facilities. It's awful ironic that they want all these tax breaks and they're going to finance $500 million of the $550 million or numbers in that vicinity. Why don't they use their own money? Why aren't they bringing anything to this town that they're going to disrupt probably for the next 30 years? What are they giving the town of Niagara? We're giving everything to them. We're receiving nothing except traffic and just a headache. I just think it's ludicrous. I think it's great for jobs if they were sustainable jobs. Whoever made the comment, this is the biggest job since the Niagara Power Project, they shouldn't even have the position to even make a statement like that. This job doesn't compare to the Niagara Power Project. The average salary in the Power Project is $75,000 to $90,000 a year, not $31,200. They talk a 401k. Where are you going to get a 401k? Who's going to be able to take any money out of $31,000 a year job to put money into a 401k so Amazon can match what? Maybe their $20 that they might have extra in their paycheck that they can put out there? These numbers are ludicrous. It would be fantastic if this was a sustainable job for all the union people. I'm a retired union man myself. I'm retired from the Carpenters Union. This would be a great project if it was 100% union, which it probably will not be. But in the end of it, the jobs are $31,200 a year. And we're going to kiss this company's rear end. They should be kissing our rear end to come in this community. And I'm sorry that our town board and everybody else thinks this is the greatest project. I wish they did their homework a little bit longer because this is not a great project. It is not a sustainable wage. Thank you, folks.
Next speaker is Ken Jen
Good afternoon. My name is Ken Jean-Maire. I have three properties on Packard Road. I've lived in West New York all my life. I'm over 70 years old, and I've seen the decline of Bell Aerospace, the Summit Park Mall, the helicopter reserve base at the air base, chemical plants in Niagara Falls. And I think about President Biden and President Trump, all saying that we need to bring jobs back to America. And certainly, I think that this would help to bring jobs back to Niagara County. I know that everything is some sort of sacrifice to somebody, but we need to revitalize the area, and to my mind, it's important. I don't know about tax breaks. Smarter people than me know about how tax breaks work and who should deserve them and things like that. But I do say that we need to do things to revive the county and bring it back into a vibrant tourist and other manufacturing county. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, Lynn Brooks.
Hello, my name is Lynn Brooks. I'm from OPIU Local 153 out of New York City. Our concern is if Amazon was making a sincere effort to give fair wages, I can go to McDonald's, I can go to Arby's, Wegmans, I can make $15 an hour. They're not giving a fair wage with a union job. With union jobs, you have spot checks, you have people that can make sure that there's proper work environment. This is disgusting with how much money this company has to say $15 an average salary, $32,000, $31,000. You can't live off of that. This is a union town, union community. For them not to even consider going union, I have a problem with that. And we want it noted that union should be building, union should be doing the work within Amazon. You might have a more sustainable company that really can flourish going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Donna Davis.
Good afternoon. I also am a member of Local 153. I've been in my place of employment for 50 years. I've been an active member of the union for 50 years. To try to raise a family on $15 an hour is literally impossible. And I feel for the people who have lived in this area, and I understand change is hard to accept. However, if you are being paid a wage that you can live on and grow your family, you will have a better business and people will stay there. I've been in my place for 50 years. If they were not paying me what I deserved and what I needed to raise my family, I would never have stayed there. And that is why Amazon has a big turnover. They cannot retain their employees. And if you don't have happy employees, you don't have a good business. I truly wish that Amazon would think about the people that live in this area and take into consideration what these people who live here are going to have to go through and work with them to make it a good environment and a good business in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Theodore Getman.
Thank you. My name is Theodore Getman. Live at 2410 River Road in Wheatfield. As I said, I'm a resident of Wheatfield, and I have two children in the Niagara Wheatfield School District. A recent economic impact study featured in Bloomberg, which is, I think we can all agree, hardly an anti-business publication, cited the impact of corporate tax benefits on nearly 2,500 school districts in the United States. 97% of them gave up revenue of greater than $5 million as a result of these tax breaks. On a per pupil basis, 149 of these districts lost more than $1,000 per student. These subsidies
eat into school budgets or result in tax increases. In 2020, 24% of Niagara Wheatfield School District families live in poverty, compared to 15% statewide. Niagara Wheatfield already spends $5,000 less per pupil than the state average in New York, according to data at nysed.org. Can Niagara Wheatfield School District afford to spend less per student? Some today are going to say, without tax increases, Amazon's not going to come here. Or tax incentives, Amazon won't come here. To them, I cite the same Bloomberg article. A prominent tax incentive researcher, Michael Farron from George Mason University, said, subsidies do not create growth. The trade-offs that occur result in higher taxes or reduced services, or both. Investing in education increases returns of better productivity. Any dollar spent on education will have a larger impact over the long run than any dollar spent on any business incentive. So we have a choice. We can raise taxes, lose services, or worse yet, both, due to the lost tax revenue, or continue to invest in education and other services for our children. I hope the group here considers this. Otherwise, our children might not have any other choice other than the unskilled labor at Amazon for their future due to the corporate tax bailouts that you're going to give to Amazon today. And I echo everyone else who rated the companies to the same other union. Thank you.
Speaker George Maziarz.
Thank you very much. My name is George Maziarz. I live in Lockport, New York. Don't take this off my time. First of all, there are 9 members on the IDA Board of Directors. How many members of the IDA Board are here today to hear the public hearing, to hear the public comments about this project that they're going to be voting on 1 week from today? How many members? Bill Ross, and I'm sorry, sir, I don't know your name. Scott. 2 members out of 9. Ultimately, the Niagara County Legislature appoints the members of the IDA Board, the 9-member board. How many Niagara County legislators are here today? None. Let me start off by saying it's insulting, not from you, Susan, but it's insulting from the agency to have a public hearing on a major project that's going to affect the lives of people, neighborhoods in Niagara County at 2 o'clock on a beautiful August afternoon. I'm asking you, number 1, to reschedule another public hearing in the evening when more people can attend, when it's more convenient for people to attend. Next, I'd like to apologize on behalf of Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. Jeff couldn't be here today. He's on his $500 million yacht in Amsterdam. He apologizes. But he thanks you for the tax break, by the way. You know, what Mr. Taylor said up here, this gentleman, I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, said is absolutely true. You know, just last year in Erie County, not 10 miles from here on Grand Island, they had the same proposal. And they were getting 0 tax breaks. 0. They were going to pay full property taxes. They had a signed written agreement with the county executive that they were going to use union labor to build a facility by local union contractors. Does such an agreement exist with the Niagara County IDA or the Niagara County Legislature?
That's not true.
What?
They weren't going to make that agreement at Grand Island.
Mark Pollock, I could reference you the statements that Mr. Poloncarz made and the town supervisor of the town of Grand Island.
Pardon me, we can't have a debate back.
Okay.
Please, the speaker. Continue.
You referenced, you know, other counties where they got tax incentives. They'll go anywhere they get tax incentives. Amazon wants to be here. They want to be close to the airport. They want to be close to the Canadian border. They have to be here. And they can well afford to pay their full property taxes. We should not be giving them tax breaks. What this gentleman talked about, the labor issue. You know, Amazon has spent millions of dollars in New York City and in Alabama fighting labor unions. Do you think they're going to help you? Do you think they're going to help you? No way it's going to happen. Their wage structure actually starts at around $15 an hour, as Mr. Taylor, I think, pointed out. On my way here, I went by 2 electronic billboards. One said, "We need to get your children and grandchildren to school. We need school bus drivers." $23.50 an hour, and they can't find them. The Seneca Nation has an electronic billboard that says, "We have open interviews from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday through Thursday, every week. Immediate hiring, immediate openings." They can't find enough people. Where's Amazon going to get 1,000 people at $15 an hour? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know, one thing, Susan, that you didn't talk about were the fees that the IDA board gets for this project, that the legal fees that politically connected lawyers get from the bond counsel and from all of those things. None of that is ever revealed publicly. I would encourage IDA board members to reveal that, to put that information out there, so we can see who is personally profiting from a project like this. Again, I'm going to ask that this board schedule another public hearing in a place where there's more parking, by the way, and that they do it in the evening when people can come here and actually ask questions and get answers. I think it's, I'll say this, I think it's insulting that you have a public hearing. I've been in government for 40 years, attended a lot of public hearings, held a lot of public hearings. You know, public hearings are to exchange information, to answer questions. You know, when you start a public hearing off by saying we're not going to answer any questions, you know, I just think that's insulting to the audience, insulting to the taxpayers who ultimately are going to be paying the bill for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I just want to comment that this public hearing is being live streamed, and also we're getting the transcript verbatim for the board of directors. And we also accept written comments, which would also be forwarded to the board of directors before they vote at the August 10th meeting. Next speaker, John Scheer.
Hello, thanks for letting me speak. My name is John Scheer. I'm the business manager of IBEW Local 237 in Niagara Falls. The last 2 projects of this magnitude that Amazon has built in Syracuse and the last one in Rochester have both been good for the IBEWs of Syracuse and of Rochester. I'm confident that my union will be represented and do the work on this job. So I stand in here to support it. It's going to be a lot of work for my members. It's going to be good paying jobs with benefits. One comment on what the previous speaker was saying, I don't believe not having the work is going to cut down on the rate of pay. If they need to hire 1,000 people, they're going to pay what they're going to need to pay to get 1,000 people. $15 is a relative number. Why are the people paying $20 an hour for bus drivers or 23 at Seneca? Because they need people. You bring in 1,000 more jobs, there's going to be more competition, the rate of pay is going to go up. That's simple economics. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, Tom Weber. Tom Weber.
Hello there, Tom Weber, Packard Road. Contrary to some beliefs from other people and some other reporting have been done, I am for Amazon to come. But my first thing in the first meeting was I want them to do it right and I want them to do it safely. first thing that I gotta say, yeah, I agree about having another open meeting at the right time. This is lousy because the people that actually get dirty and actually work for a living and pay their taxes can't be here because they're obligated to be at work. So this is very unfair to them, which is part of the public, of the town. It's gonna get, the county is not gonna get affected by this bad. We're gonna take the whole heat for everybody in this whole area. Now, I'll just say, I'm a traffic person, so this is about safety. I've sent plenty of pictures, other comments, the town knows about it. The shoulders aren't wide enough. This is a class 16, I believe. Our minor arterial road is Packard. Our traffic should be going down Lockport Road or Porter Road, which is basically part of the highway system. I think everybody's really just stuck their head up their behinds and looked the other way when it comes to our children and everybody else and the other traffic that's been going on for years here. That is a problem. It's been a problem. It's a safety issue. And now what we're gonna do is just put a Godzilla more of traffic right on top of Porter and Packard and Military. It makes no sense. You can only fit so many fish in a fishing net. I'm not sure what else to say, but I think we need a real traffic study done the right way, and that should be documented before they get their certificate of occupancy for this place. They can build, they can still come here, but guess what? If you really do your homework, they've done exactly that, built, done everything, and still not even opened up a warehouse and screwed everybody for all the taxes that they promised to give you. And Grand Island was going to get a bribe. Oh no, excuse me. I don't mean a bribe. I mean an incentive of $10 million. We got the railroad, we got the airport, and we got Canada. We need to get off the 190 here. Let our state put their asses together and get some money together. They got 2 whole years, and put a ramp up on Lockport Road and keep everybody safe. I'm done.
Next speaker, Jim Maltry. Or, is it Malloy or Jim? Sorry, I can't read your name.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Jim Maltby, I'm the president of the Insulators Union. Represent the members from Buffalo and Niagara counties. And we could certainly use this project, as one of the members said, construction has been pretty slow the last few years. The project in Syracuse and the one recently in Hamburg has used my members, and so we're for the project. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Matthew Hubacher.
Good afternoon. Matthew Hubacher. I'm the Vice President of Research within West Buffalo Niagara in Buffalo, New York. Appreciate the opportunity to deliver these comments on behalf of our President and CEO, Tom Kaczorski. As Western New York's private nonprofit economic development organization, West Buffalo Niagara's mission is to facilitate business attraction and expansion efforts that create and retain jobs, increase capital investments across the 8 counties of our service territory. West Buffalo Niagara wishes to share their support of the benefits Project Fifi represents and recommend the NCIDA board advance the project's application for tax incentives. After several years of limited investment, the transportation and warehousing sectors of the regional economy are lagging the nation. Based on data from the Western New York Industrial Real Estate Development Strategy, a comprehensive report commissioned by Invest Buffalo Niagara and delivered by a consultant team from Newmark, only 1 in 5 local transportation and warehousing jobs are in subsectors growing faster than the country. Newmark estimates the regional economy to be deficient by 1,500 transportation and warehousing jobs. Project Fifi helps reverse that trend. The direct jobs associated with the project will provide upskilling and training to members of the community who are underemployed, looking for new opportunities and career advancement, or exited the labor force during the global pandemic. At 62.5%, Buffalo Niagara's labor force participation rate trails several competitive peer regions, as well as the nation. Job opportunities through Project Fifi will foster re-engagement with those looking for work opportunities and foster skill support and on-the-job training, while providing competitive wages and salaries along with benefits. Having worked with Amazon on several projects across Western New York, Invest Buffalo Niagara knows firsthand the company continues to invest in the community beyond its significant job creation and capital expenditures through training and tuition reimbursement programs, K-12 education STEAM and STEM program investments, support and engagement with the military veteran community, and healthcare assistance through the Amazon Cares program. Invest Buffalo Niagara commends Niagara County and the town of Niagara's commitment to and leadership on this important economic development project. The project is certainly an affirmation of the investments Niagara County has made to become a first-class place to do business. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, Anthony Casilio.
Good day. My name is Anthony Casilio. I reside at 7005 Sunnydale Drive, Niagara Falls, New York. First off, I initially was going to come up and ask questions, and obviously I can't do that, so I'm going to try to transform my questions into comments, and hopefully I can do that properly. I want to start off by restating or supporting the comments made by Mr. Maziarz and the other gentleman that it is truly unfair to have this meeting at this time, to where people who are working and who have tax dollars coming into this and potentially it benefits significant issues, and they can't be here to say what they want to say. I also think it's unfair that I can't ask questions, because I don't sit around watching or reading IDA documents all day long. It'd be nice to know and get some details. My concern, and I, again, haven't read the documentation, is that, well, first off, I think that Amazon needs this. So why are we giving them incentives in the first place? I think that it's somewhat of an atrocity that that is happening. But if these incentives are going to be given to them, then I would like to know, and I hope, I guess, that they aren't significant cuts into what we would have otherwise received in the town, in the county, and in the school district, because they are all entities that need to recoup and generate more tax funds. I'm particularly disturbed when I hear that other areas do not give any tax breaks and still have the program, or Amazon have interest in their facilities and locations. One last thing, because my problem has been traffic more than any other, because I live in a development that will now be surrounded by 493 trucks coming in, 493 trucks going out. That's not counting any cars or employees who are going to be coming in, any miscellaneous trucks. I've just heard that they lease out their facilities, so there'll be trucks coming in from other companies. The traffic on Porter Packard will be unbelievable. We're now told that they'll be exiting down Lockport Road. That will completely surround that community. At least, if some of these tax incentives can be reduced to the point where we can dedicate $10 million to putting an exit and entrance ramp at Lockport Road, where at least Lockport Road could be expanded. There's less housing there. Maybe we could buy out the people who are there to expand the roads. It's going to be a dangerous situation, in my opinion, and I think that this tax incentive is misdirected. Thank you.
Next speaker, Mark Jaranovich.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Jaranovich. I too am with OPEIU Local 153. I rise in opposition to this project. When is all of this corporate welfare going to be exposed for what it really is? See, Dan McKinley's here from Channel 2. It's probably still on their website. I read it last night. They did a story on the Amazon building in Hamburg. It's empty. There's nothing in there. No packages, no employees. It's crickets. The town wants to know what's going on with the $6 million it gave in order to have that project built and located in the town of Hamburg. I'm a trade unionist. I follow what's happening in the labor movement. And right around Christmas, there was an election in New York. An independent union called the Amazon Employees Labor Union won an election to represent the employees that work at the facility in New York. Amazon behavior during that campaign was nothing short of what I would call reprehensible. Their conduct in the workplace, you folks know what those kinds of meetings are held, captive audience meetings where the employer brings you into a room and asks you about your feelings on the union, why you're supporting the union. Numerous charges were filed with the National Labor Relations Board. They've all been upheld. There were union activists involved in that campaign who were terminated by Amazon. Now the National Labor Relations Board, it's been a few months, but they're getting around to it. Those employees are now starting to be returned to work with back pay. Now the union has an obligation to bargain. They've asked Amazon to come to the table. Yeah, they're there. But they're doing what's commonly known as surface bargaining. They're there, they're listening, they're not making any proposals, they're receiving what the union gives them. And they told the union, nothing you have is guaranteed, not your hourly rate or your benefits. You've got to bargain from scratch. We don't want that kind of behavior here. We think we're better. We think we're better, and I strongly urge this board to give this more thought. Senator George, you will always be our senator. Made a great comment about the location, the time. This meeting can be rescheduled, could be held in the auditorium of the Niagara Wheatfield High School, which is the school district where this proposed project is going to be built. In the evening, adequate parking so many more people can attend. Thank you.
Next speaker is Connor Motion.
Thank you for having me. My name's Connor Motion. Does it help if I hold this?
Either put your face closer or hold it.
Okay,
Can you give us your address?
Yeah, 242 Richmond. I live in Buffalo, New York. I was a previous employee of Amazon. I was an employee in 2019 at the Lancaster location. I can speak to it as being one of the poorest times of my life as an employee of Amazon. The expectations that Amazon has of its workers and
Excuse me, could you please pick up the microphone and hold it to your mouth?
Yeah.
We can't hear. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, thank you. Thank you, sir.
There we go.
So I was a previous employee of Amazon.
A lot of us are old and we can't hear.
But I worked there in 2019, and it was one of the poorest times of my life. I understand, from the building trades why, it would be good for your members, but I think you're being offered a very, maybe a golden goose, but the long-term consequences of what this facility will be for the community, I do not think has a positive effect. I think for the guys like me who have to go work on the floor, the guys who built it, they're going to get great benefits in terms of getting the place up. For the people who are going to have to stay and work at this place, it sucks. And I was also joined by another Amazon worker who I know, and he's currently going through all the exact same union busting that they have to deal with there, and it's going to just come straight back down into your community. As much as it is good for your union, you have to think about everybody here. I'm a member of Workers United, and I do not see this as a deal that is good for the county, for workers. I think it's something that should be rejected, or at minimum, that the tax incentives that are being offered by Amazon are not nearly anywhere beneficial to the community. Just looking at, say, Niagara County, the average wage is $55,522, which comes out to just under $30 an hour in the county. MIT calculates a living wage for 2 working adults with 2 children at just over $23 in Niagara County. So the average wage for transportation warehouse work is $45,081. Amazon is only offering an average of $18 an hour across its facility, without even accounting for the fact that many of these jobs will be part-time and flex hours. So that means when I was working there, making $15.50 an hour, how many hours was I actually really getting, I had to, scrape together change to get gas money to go to work. I couldn't get my car inspected because I couldn't afford to fix it. So I had to drive illegally to get to my job. This is the kind of workforce you are expecting in your community. You should reject it. That's all.
Thank you, Sean.